Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of the Team Lead Talks podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Becker, out of Alexandria, Virginia. On today's show, we have Jayce Walzer out of Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome, Jayce.
Hey, it's nice to be here.
Yeah, man. So let's, I always kind of like to jump right into this. Tell us a little bit of your background, what you have going on, and then I'd love to talk about your initiative, SilverKey, and learn a little bit more about that. But who's Jayce? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I am born and raised San Diego, California. I came out to Atlanta, Georgia Tech, to study computer science, specifically AI stuff. And that's kind of what I did, all through high school, started college, was AI research. I did a lot of stuff relating to AI explicability and creativity with artificial intelligence systems. And then ultimately, just through kind of some startup groups that I was in, I ended up meeting the team for a different project called Home Reels, which was basically kind of like TikTok for houses, scrolling through and kind of just being in kind of like a different way of searching. And we ended up raising some money for that project. Ultimately, didn't really go anywhere, but I ended up switching to a different real estate project where I was the CTO. It was kind of just analysis of some commercial real estate documents and stuff. And then ultimately, through those experiences, I kind of started to realize how much friction there was in the kind of consumer end of the real estate space, specifically just with the entire experience of buying a house. I noticed there were a lot of things that could be potentially automated and just made easier.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the existing software for consumers like Zillow, Redfin, their ultimate goal when someone's buying a house is to keep the person on the site for as long as possible and keep them scrolling so they can sell ad space to real estate agents, right? Which, I mean, obviously there's nothing wrong with that, but I kind of wanted to see if there was a way to, instead of monetizing the consumer's time and kind of change the incentives a little bit and see if I could streamline certain parts of the process. So what I started out doing was, hey, let's see if we could kind of maybe automate some of the research aspects of it. So the user would put in their priorities and it would spit out these big reports with everything from safety, local demographics, kind of just the vibe of the area. And we pull from census data and look at like Reddit threads and stuff like that. And that was a really cool part of it that we were able to do, specifically because, obviously real estate agents with fair housing, they're not allowed to say a lot of that stuff.
Right.
So that was one aspect of it.
Jayce, is this
And
a
then,
desktop application? Is it a mobile app? Like, how does one
yeah,
access it?
this is a website right now.
Okay.
Use silverkey.com.
Okay.
Yeah, and then eventually we kind of started to see other areas where, things could be optimized and we could use AI to kind of assist the experience. So then we kind of started looking at search and say, okay, people are, when they're looking for a house, they're in that phase, they're going on, they're scrolling through Zillow every day. I mean, how many hundreds of houses are they looking at that they would never even consider touring?
Mm-hmm.
So let's take all the information we can. And then we ended up building some computer vision models and some machine learning stuff and be able to rank houses. And on the site, we actually only show the top 10 houses.
So if I
And
went to your site, I would create like an Andrew profile and it would ask me a bunch of questions to know which ones to filter out and which ones to show me. Is that how it knows like what I want to see?
yeah, exactly. We would take, let's say you want single family home, 3 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, in some certain area. So that would kind of be the base filter. And then this, one thing you could also do is you could put in your work, the address to it, and let's say you have a max commute of 30 minutes. Anything more than that, you wouldn't do. You put at your kid's school and you could say, okay, I want to be walking distance to my kid's school. And it would make a graph. You can see it on the map. It would make a graph of all the places in that area, and then it'll filter through them. and it'll filter for the bedrooms and bathrooms and in your price range. And then from there, we kind of go ahead and we look at, oh, you also indicated that you want a garden and you want a pool and you need parking and you want a recent modern build. And then we filter and have a ranking system based on that. And then you can click on the properties and you can see like pros and cons lists for you. You can see kind of a return on investment analysis and look at the market. So that was another aspect of kind of the home buying process that we felt could be automated. And
Cool.
then
Who's
we,
Jayce, who's the we? Do you have partners in this, or can you
yeah,
tell?
so I started out leading this project, and then ultimately, pretty recently, after kind of building the initial prototype and going, okay, to scale this thing is actually pretty goddamn hard. I brought on another engineer and then someone to kind of look at compliance law because as I'll talk about later, we're starting to get more into the financial aspect also.
Okay.
Yeah, and then after search really started just like, all right, we've got research, we've got search, we built out negotiation also, which more AI stuff, looking at the local market and comps, and then we're able to go online and scrape certain websites for like the global market as well to try and put an offer together and give a justification for why.
Walk me through
And
that
then
part of it, Jayce. So you can fill out a profile. It tells you, hey, Andrew, we know you want to be walking distance within a school for your kids. You want to be 10 minutes from your office. And then it yields whatever houses are available, right? And then if I want to pick one, can you like set an appointment? Like how would you actually, once it tells you which houses you want, how would I actually go and see the house to then make an offer?
yeah, so I mean, not everything is built out because it's a pretty large project and we don't have the base of the agent. So there's the agent's phone number and the email that you could reach out to them, or there's a button on there that takes you to the Zillow listing for the
Cool.
house
Okay.
and you can book through that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
And then yeah, once you book, you can research, put all the houses into spreadsheets and compare them. And you could select one of your liked houses to do negotiation. And
Gotcha.
then there's also checklists for the closing side of it, which is how we make money is affiliate links to all the different services and also partnerships that are coming up with companies like our biggest one is going to be better.com. Um, we're gonna be working with their engineering teams to um, have them build out custom stuff for pre-approval in the site, insurance in the site, and then some stuff to help with escrow.
Very cool.
And ultimately, we're trying to fill in the gaps, essentially, to do as much of the process as possible on the site, as easy as possible for the user.
Okay.
So
And is the
that's
agent
where we're at.
involved? Like, there's a user profile for the buyer, and it sounds like it's mostly for the buying side, right? Did I get that?
Mhm.
It's not for the listing or
Yeah.
sell. Okay. So the buyer would be a primary avatar for you, but is there also like an agent component where they can kind of be like a co profile on my buyer? Or is it just for like the individual buyer and then it doesn't really matter if I have my own agent or not?
Yeah, right now it's just for the individual buyer. And I would say, but I do think there's definitely a place for the agent to kind of be in there. Once we have some of the stuff that's coming later on with the financials as far as getting a lot more involved in the inspection and escrow process on the actual site, and
Hmm.
that with the ultimate goal of being able to have the buyer do the entire process online,
Yeah,
that's kind of when we're going to start to put the agent in there and really get them more involved.
gotcha.
Or give buyers the option to go without an agent is another thing that we're working. Because right now there isn't really a major service that is kind of lets buyers go without one.
Hmm.
And just based on, general home affordability, that is something that people are asking for more.
Right, right. So in essence, if they chose to forego a buyer's agent, they'd just be working with the listing agent like directly.
Yeah, essentially. I guess they would be working with them directly and then also kind of working, representing themselves. So we
Gotcha.
say kind of we are also just not legally allowed to be your agent as a website. I would say
Okay.
kind of giving advice to the buyer and kind of holding their hand through the process and, scheduling out every part of it and say, all right, you need to do the inspections and you need to do this. Here's the link to do that. And then ultimately just trying to make it as easy as possible for them to, yeah.
Can you walk us through like the found a house and you mentioned like there's a offer component to it? Like how does that work? What does it look like? Does it produce like a contract or an offer or like what's the end resolve there if I'm like, "Oh, I want 123 Main Street." Like SilverKey help me come up with an offer for it. Can you walk me through what that would look like?
Yeah, right now, really, it's just coming up with a number and a justification. We're trying to find the number where you have, based on your priorities, you have the highest chance of getting accepted at the lowest price.
Gotcha.
As of now, the user would essentially be doing all the paperwork themselves, so they would need an agent. The stuff relating to the more kind of like granular compliance heavy stuff, like even like sending an offer, is stuff that's going to be coming later, and also just stuff that's a lot more challenging to build for a group of college students essentially.
Right, right. Yeah, I sometimes forget. It's a super impressive like product, or I guess a product in, in the build phase. And I
Mhm.
I always forget you guys are in college. Is the whole
Yeah,
team like just college students?
yep, we're all college students. It's all just people that I've met through startup stuff or just
Very cool.
friends, people that I've brought onto the team, and
I
it's fun.
I had a question about your college. It makes me feel like really old, but you're going to college for like an AI degree. Is that what you said earlier?
So yeah, I'm computer science,
Okay.
and but really my second 2 years are completely artificial intelligence classes.
Yeah, that's crazy. That wasn't even like a thing when I went to college, let alone
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
it's it's crazy how much it's just like taken over, especially at Georgia Tech. I mean, there's I think probably 25,000 people in the student body,
yeah.
and they have one graduation for computer science and one graduation for everybody else.
Yeah, it's a big computer science school, right?
Yeah,
That's nuts.
it's really wild to see, and it's exploding even more, which is the crazy part.
Yeah, I obviously being in real estate, I see a lot of AI tech out there, and it
Hmm.
sounds like your foundation for the basis of your product is all machine learning AI. Is that an accurate statement right
Hmm.
now? And like, where do you see the future with the product going via AI helping along the way?
Yeah, I would say honestly, the core AI tech, the kind of the search and the negotiation and some of the research stuff has all been built out. And now comes the hard part of making it as good as possible. I
Yeah.
think every single person watching right now has used some AI tech that promises a lot of big stuff and it just sucks. I mean, a lot of the stuff out there is just not good. It's not accurate. So now that we have the core, it's really just about talking to users and making the experience as good as possible while also building out the financial side of it because that's kind of what we're missing right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Talk to me about the financial side because we've kind of gone up through like profile yield results of homes that I would
mhm.
want to look at to offer. What do you mean by financial side? Can you dive a little deep into what your vision is for that part of it?
Yeah, so I guess the first part of it is, before you even put in your first offer, is getting pre approved or getting proof of funds.
Hmm.
Both of those things we're working with Plaid and Better.com to put those features in the next month. Insurance is also coming in. I guess when I say financial side, I kind of just mean all of the scary paperwork stuff
Yeah.
that people don't know how to do or I didn't know how to do before I started doing this.
Yeah.
I'm getting my real estate license right now just so I can kind of learn about the process essentially.
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so then there's the pre-approval or the proof of funds, and then you kind of start the process of, okay, I need to do my inspections and look at the necessary disclosures and make sure all this stuff's okay. So that's one aspect of it. Another aspect of it, you is just kind of the escrow side of it, which is probably going to be the hardest part of it. Definitely going to be the hardest part of it, and something that is probably going to take as much time as everything else that we've already built thus
Okay.
far.
I have a
And
question
then
for
there's
you, man.
other little aspects of it.
Let me ask you a question because you
Yeah.
have a really clear and intimate knowledge of like a real estate transaction process from like A to Z, but you're in college. Like, where did you learn about the intricacies of like what one goes through as a buyer in real estate? Is your family in real estate? Like, how did you learn this, or did you just learn it from like YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, really, like I said earlier, the way that the way the entire business model essentially is partnering with people and doing revenue sharing.
Okay,
And I started trying to book these meetings and reach out to everybody and anybody I could. And I would get in there and they would say like 10 words I just never heard of. And I was like, oh my God, I
right.
don't know what the hell I'm doing. I need to figure this out. So, I mean, it was everything. It was YouTube, talking to former buyers. I have like a great uncle that does real estate. I would always just like call him up and be like, hey, like, help me out with this.
Yeah, that's probably an amazing resource right there, dude.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And then just keep learning and learning and doing research and making these big plans for compliance in different states
Right.
as well, and kind of learning. Okay, so this is going to be the protocol if this is a wedding county versus not, and these 5 states require you to have an agent. So what would we do in those cases?
Mm-hmm.
And then building what is going to be this big compliance matrix essentially, where based on your zip code it outlines, okay, these are all the steps that you're going to have to do.
Right.
And a lot
So,
of this stuff is theoretical right now. It's probably not going to, I mean, it's ways away, just
right.
because, I mean, it's so challenging. All of this data is so fragmented. Every single one of these county websites where they host all of these forms are completely different. You can't just kind of go through
Yep.
them.
And there's about 3,300 counties in the United States. So that's
Yeah,
a lot of
it
different
is.
counties.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so challenging, but that's also why it hasn't been done yet, and why there's a big incentive to kind of be the first to be able to automate the process.
Yeah, that'd be really cool, dude. Where are you out of curiosity? Do you have like an MVP? Do you have people using it? Or are you just still in kind of like the research, development, build phase?
Yeah, so we've got a couple beta users that we talk with pretty regularly, and then maybe like 50 people that are kind of like we kind of reach out with here and there and say, hey, how's this? Did this thing break? Did this thing actually work?
Yeah.
And then ultimately, I've got 1 or 2 people lined up that I'm going to actually go through the whole process of buying their house with them when once I do end up getting my license, and kind of trying to work out the kinks in that and keep doing that process until ultimately works. And I'm doing it for 0% commission. So they're like, all right.
Not a bad way to ask for help from someone, right?
No, definitely,
Yeah, dude,
definitely not.
as a creator and a founder of two different softwares in real estate, it's really awesome to hear that you yourself are listening to your customers' feedback. That is like gold. So, as much as you can do that, my recommendation, obviously, it sounds like you're already doing it, but like throw everything what you think would be like the best out the window, give the concept, but then hear the feedback from the people actually using it. Cause at the end of the day, that's like what actually matters and what actually is going to help you sell. Like, listen to those people like it was gold that they're giving you. Just one, word of advice there. Cause I certainly have made the mistake of being like, oh, this is what people want. I know it. Just for my one experience I had with whatever feature it was. So that's awesome to hear that you're doing that. When, like, I don't know if you have the answer to this, but like, what's your timeline if you have one for your MVP finally comes out, and if people are interested in it, they can sign up, and like how would that look and how would that work?
I mean, right now people can go on the site and sign up and use the features. I would say give it another probably by the end of 2025, we'll have a lot of the integrations with as far as pre-approval, insurance, and kind of a calendar that kind of tracks everything through. And so it'll be a little more polished. And then another 6 months until the full online purchasing is done. So midway through 2026,
Okay.
people will be able to fully buy their houses online, and they can choose whether or not they want to use an agent.
What's the ultimate like vision? Is it just to automate the buyer process from start to finish to make it as simple, or is there anything bigger than that, or is it just as not as simple as that? Because I know how complicated and complex that can be. But where do you see kind of SilverKey where it is today going to, when you do have your 2.0 after your MVP?
Yeah, I think that like when I think of the future of SilverKey, I kind of think of the future of real estate in general and the future of the job market. God, I would say that I mean in general, people's jobs are getting more and more automated. I mean, for me as someone that does software engineering, probably 90% of my code is written by AI at this point. And I would say that it's something that's it's going to be very similar for real estate agents as far as their job is going to be automated a lot and the consumer's job is going to be automated a lot. And I would hope to make a platform in the future that makes the lives of the buyers, the sellers, and the agents as easy as possible and make the transactions as smooth as possible. So a lot of this like this just kind of like regulatory nonsense and like all of this confusion and stress around buying and selling. I mean, obviously it's never going to go away, but
Right.
try to minimize it as much as possible and have a platform where all three parties can, do transactions easily
Yeah. Very
or as
cool. I
easily.
love that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jace, I know we connected because I think we were introduced from somebody at Lighthouse Networks,
Mhm.
right? And then we wound up
Yes.
chatting, and then I invited you to be on the show. I'm just out of curiosity, did you wind up moving forward with that, or like where does that stand right now?
Yeah, so I have applied. I'm waiting to hear back. Nervously waiting. I've also applied to a couple other startup accelerators for the spring and kind of just hoping to connect with a bigger audience and kind of just get some investment also and
Right.
be able to take the product to where it needs to be essentially. But I'm hoping for them. I still haven't heard back yet.
Okay.
We'll see.
I'll put in a good word for you. I'll text some of them and let them know that we just did a
Awesome. Thank you
podcast.
so much.
I'll help you out as much as I can there, man. Well, Jace, this has been awesome. Is there anything else about SilverKey that I didn't touch on that you might want to tell anyone listening about, or did we kind of cover the whole process there?
Yeah, I guess the one thing I will say is for the agents listening, I think that from all of the people that I talk to in the industry right now, agents are thinking less about the impacts of AI on their jobs and how that's going to look compared to someone like me in software engineering. I think that the general trajectory of everything is things are going to get cheaper as more things get automated, and real estate agents are probably going to end up having to spend a lot less time per buyer or seller than they used to, and then commission might also go down a little bit as a result of that because people are just able to handle more volume.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that it's very, very important right now to have your finger on the pulse as far as how you can integrate AI into your kind of day to day, which obviously AI isn't like, it's not magic. It's not going to change everything. It's not going to take your job,
Hmm.
but it is just something to think about. And I know it's something that I think about a lot as
No.
someone whose friends are directly impacted by it right now.
Yeah, man, I really feel like you are onto something super important, and it's a big value add because the biggest part, like anyone who does a transaction without any tech help, right? So there's like database CRM help that you can get, and now there's starting to be this AI. The bulk of overhead that eats into profit margin is the former, right? Like
Mhm.
spending on all these softwares to hopefully make things easier. So I think you're right in line with like, well, what if it takes the way I do things now takes me 4 total hours or 6 total hours to help you, Jayce, buy a home. But then I can implement something like SilverKey, and maybe that goes down to like an hour. And I've just bought back 4 to 6 or how, 4 hours of like revenue generating activities that I can now be focusing on because I have a tool like yours helping me expedite that process. I mean,
Exactly.
that's how you're going to get a leaner business, whether you're a solo agent or you're running a team with a lot of people on it, you start to chip into like the overall
Mhm.
profit, which at the end of the day, these are businesses, right? So you have to make money to be sustainable long term. So you just got to start chipping away at the overhead that's killing your profit margin. I think this is an excellent tool to do just that. So I'm really excited about the potential here. I'd love for you to kind of like keep me apprised of like your updates and when you roll out the next phase. Would love to check it out as well. Anyone listening, Jayce, that wants to learn a little bit more about you and your company and what they can how they can contact you or connect with you, where would one need to go?
Yeah, so I would say if you're interested in checking out the site itself, use silverkey.com
Okay,
is where you can go and look at my stuff. Tell me what you think. Tell me you love it. Tell me you hate it. Um, I just want feedback. I want people to use it, and I want to iterate. As far as contacting me personally, um, we're hoping to start partnering with some agents and doing some marketing stuff. Maybe giving out a little equity here and there.
okay,
So you can go and uh, follow me on LinkedIn, connect with me, message me, or just email me personally, walzerjace@gmail.com.
awesome, dude. I will also, for those
I'm really
listening,
just
go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, no, I'm just saying I just want to expand my Rolodex, talk to people, make build cool stuff.
Awesome,
But
man.
anyways, yeah, go ahead.
I will include all of Jace's contact information in the description of this episode as well. So if you want to check out SilverKey, go to their website. Jace, what's the model right now? If I wanted to sign up myself, like, is it free? Is it a subscription model? Like, what would that look like?
That's my favorite question. It will be 100% free for buyers, sellers, and agents. Right now, it's all just made for buyers. But because we make money from revenue sharing, there's no advertising, there's no subscriptions, nothing. We just want people to use the site. Hopefully they like it, they keep coming back, and eventually when they do their mortgage or they're booking their moving concierge or whatever, then they go through our site.
Very cool. Well, Jace, it's been a fun conversation. I always love learning about like the latest, greatest tools. I'll put in a good word with Lighthouse for you. I'm going to check out silverkey.com myself. But thank you so much for your time this morning.
All right, thank you so much.